Just to thank you guys for all showing up. It's kind of amazing to me sometimes when people turn up, but these events are incredible to have. I think we've had 3 with my group and BC Children's, so the more I see them, the more exciting they are, because then I get to meet young people, and hopefully someday some of you guys get to join me on one of these adventures. So just to talk a little bit about Clinton and the experience with him going into starting IBD adventures. Quite often with my campaign where I was climbing the 7 summits, so the highest peak on each of the continents, accumulating in Everest, which I'll get to, I got asked, what are you going to do after? So because in 2008, when I got a stricture in my intestine and at Everest Base Camp and got flown off, which was the second scariest helicopter ride of my life, I came back and I needed that kind of something to excite me, so I started IBD Adventures and thought I can take young people into these environments. I love being outdoors, I love the mountains. Why not be able to share that, not just with the world in a whole, but actually start to grab people and bring them with me and make them see what it's about. And if you want to know more about that, Michelle can tell you about what Peru was like. So just to get onto Everest, and I know there's time constraints, I think I got about 15 minutes to do this, and when Michelle told me that, I was like, 15 minutes? I think it took longer to boil water at 8,000 meters, so this is going to be the quickest. So it was incredible to have Clinton, Carly, I think on the IBD Adventures where we hiked into Everest Base Camp, and Clinton mentioned it was support. It was incredible for me to have this group of people that were living with IBD join me on that trek, because they were so close as friends, so close to my heart, and knowing what they go through and the awe of just being at base camp, which Clinton said it is, I think it's about 200 meters lower than the summit of Kilimanjaro. And Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding peak in the world, and no easy task to climb. So once the team left, it was really down to work for us. So we had to make sure we had all the oxygen bottles. We had to measure how much oxygen. We had to actually do math, which is, it's hard for me at sea level, at base camp. But we were calculating to see how much oxygen we had so we know how long each bottle would last. So we would take the bottles with more oxygen higher on the mountain, so hopefully it gave us a better shot at the summit. So once the team was gone, down to work. But Everest is a big mountain. It takes a really long time to do it, so we had time to play as well. So occasionally we'd go bouldering. So this is me hanging off a rock with Everest in the background. And I am tied because the last thing I want to do is fall and hurt myself before I'm supposed to go climb the mountains. My sponsor would really love that. Here's the actual dusting. It's not really an app, we just call it a dusting at base camp. And Ken Georgie, our lead Sherpa, is sitting down here. You'll watch him, I think he's untying gear from a yak or something at the time, and he doesn't even flinch, so you know it's not coming anywhere near the camp. But there were times when you'd hear these, and when they'd go off, they would sound like a bomb. And then they would hit camp, and you'd wake up in the morning, if you didn't hear the whoof as it went through camp, and it was like it snowed the night before, like 4 or 5 inches of snow just everywhere. So moving on, how I'll progress through this, and there's a lot of stuff that I do, and IBD Adventures is fun and that, but I kind of thought, you know what, I'm just going to share my Everest summit with you guys. We've been on the mountain acclimatizing, so up and down, climbing the mountain, going through the ice fall, which is treacherous. When I explain what the ice fall is like to people, I say if you know the Jenga game, where you take the blocks out, it's like climbing that while people are playing the game. So it's constantly moving. There was a group of climbers that were up in an area called the football field, that there's this huge flat place that everyone assumes is safe. And they were all sitting there having their lunch as they were moving through the ice fall. And the ice shifted, and it brought the football field up 20 feet. So you imagine sitting in, if I was standing here and it pushed up, I'd be through the ceiling. So there were people on that team that just packed up and left. But as you make it through the ice fall, there's crevices. The ice doctors, which are incredible, most people would take them 5 months to climb Everest if they had to work their way through this maze of the Jenga game. But the ice doctors come in, all the teams hire them to actively make the ice fall safe. So they're putting in ladders, ropes, and making it comfortable for us. Well, as comfortable as you can be when there's 2 or 3 ladders strapped together over a 100-foot crevice. Powder blue down jacket, so He's a bit of a playboy. Is kind of the climbing Sherpas are very well renowned, and they do quite well financially being climbed, but they risk their life. So I guess it weighs itself. Anyway, Tindorji catches up, and I said, Tindorji, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I came to get you. I said, you came to get me? I thought I was meeting you somewhere on the trail. I said, what time did you leave? He said, oh, about an hour and a half. It took him an hour and a half of the day before. It took me 4 hours. So my move from camp 1 to camp 2 didn't feel so good anymore. And then Dorji's basically, come on, Rob, let's go. He clips me to him. He starts moving, and I just get on his heels, and all I think about is Tindorji, what's coming next, how many teams are in front of us. And you can see kind of a lineup of teams looking at this, because summit windows are very small on Everest, so a lot of teams are going at once. So we're moving across, heading towards the yellow band, which is sort of the next big technical section once you get off the ice face. That is me. This one got my proof of that I was there. Just hanging out, Everest in the background. You can't see the summit, but it's there. And then we sort of get bogged in with the lineup on the yellow band. There's one rope holding all these climbers. Now these ropes are strong, they'll hold an elephant, but it's not going to hold that many climbers if somebody takes a fall or somebody puts a crampon through it. So Tindorji and I kind of hang back a little bit, let it clear. Nobody behind us is going to really move past us, so we have time. And as we're sitting there waiting, we've talked about what we're going to do. I noticed that his backpack is Colin Sport, which is a European climbing gear company. And I just thought, well, this is really ironic. It's Colin Sport, and I don't have a colon. I'll blame the altitude for that one. But, so I took a picture. Anyway, at the top of the yellow band, you'll see teams that, actually, some of the teams that we worked ourselves past, and we're moving quite quickly. You can see Camp 3 as it starts to get a little bit more sunlight out. Moving up, heading up to Geneva Sphere, you see more and more people. This is the lineup of Everest. The knowledge of yourself, how strong we are as humans to overcome, to take on these, not just physical mountains, but the personal ones that we face every day: health, mental health, physical health, and strength. And that's why the name. It just reminds me of what I've been through, the road it took to get me to a place like this, the people that I take with me on the way, and it is rooms like this where I get the strength on those cold, ugly mountain days, where I think of the young people I get to meet, Clinton, who's a phenomenal young man that I've been fortunate enough to know and mentor. For some reason, he looked up to me. I don't know why. Must be the amount of time he spent at altitude. And it's his journey and your journeys really that have given me strength to get here and do this, and why I started Ideas and IBD Adventures is kind of my hope that I can start sharing some of these places in the world that are just phenomenal to see. Very accessible. If you can get some private time with Michelle, she'll tell you that it is all possible. From women, from high heels to hiking boots, and never slept in a tent before, and in the jungles of Peru, which are snakes and spiders and other nasty things. But it's a passion of mine, not just to make a difference within the world of IBD, but to be able to show you how you can do the same thing. So thank you for the invite. I was probably longer than 15 minutes, but thanks for the opportunity to come and talk to you guys.